Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Success Thursday, the big question of the week that we present to Frederik Vannieuwenhuyse. Hey, Frederik, welcome back.
Hello, Vasco. Thank you.
So, Frederik, on Thursdays, we'll talk about success, of course, in a minute. But first, do share with us, what's your favorite retrospective format and why?
Yes. So it's called What, So What, Now What, which is a way to structure a workshop or a conversation. You could use it outside retrospectives, but I also definitely like to use it as a retrospective format.
And tell us a little bit more about that, and how do you prepare? How do you set it up? How do you introduce it to the teams? And what are the key benefits of using such a format in your mind?
Yeah. So What, So What, Now What is essentially a reflective model that helps teams or people to evaluate something that happened, either a shared experience, such as we had a sprint in a team, or any recent event, a problematic situation, or a crisis that you need to address, with, of course, the goal that you can identify ways to improve or to act. So this is retrospective material. Now, as such, What, So What, Now What is a critical thinking model. That is how it is described, a critical thinking model that was researched and developed, I think, 20 or 25 years ago. Although What, So What, Now What is also part of the set of techniques in the Liberating Structures. So if you want to have it in a handy way to facilitate this, you can look it up in Liberating Structures. Now, it's based on the ladder of inference. And what does that mean? An inference is basically somebody that it's a guess that you make or an opinion that you form just based on the information that you have. And what does that mean? We people, human beings, do that all the time. We jump to conclusions just based on some information that we have and an interpretation of that information without actually, saying how I come to that conclusion. And in a retrospective, we want to structure that conversation better. First, understand the current situation, what's the problem, the cause of it, what are possible ways to improve, and how can we act. And What, So What, Now What structures that conversation. And it are 3 steps, 3 questions, 3 steps. So how do you run it? The what is to understand what has happened. You can collect the data, the information of what happened during the sprint, or you can zoom into one particular thing that happened during the sprint. That's the what step. And you really ask people to only state facts, things that they have seen, that they have observed. For example, if, at the daily, just to give an example of a Scrum team, at the daily Scrum, you always hear that somebody's saying, hey, you're coming. The daily Scrum is way too long, right? Or somebody says, hey, you're always coming too late. But too late is already an interpretation or a conclusion. So someone else can disagree with, come on, I mean, I am not too late. I was on time. You see, it's a simple example, but that shows that people are not aligned on actually what is the topic and what is the problem. So in the what step, in the first step, we're just going to state the facts. The daily in the past 5 days, the daily Scrum took us 17 minutes, the other time 20 minutes, and the other time only 5 minutes. These are facts. In the second step, so what? Then you invite people to kind of make sense of the information that you have collected in the first step and what are the implications. So then people can give interpretation, they can share their opinion, they can share their feelings about that. But that is based upon the facts that you have gathered, which is already a very important step. And I know, to continue on the example that I was saying before, okay, people say, okay, I think that okay, daily Scrum in the Scrum guide should be maximum 15 minutes, so that should be it. Somebody else says, yeah, well, 15 minutes, that's not long enough. I think we need more time. So somebody is trying to make sense of the data that we have gathered before. Or somebody else says, well, look, this should be a very short, to the point meeting. I think we should always start, at 9 o'clock sharp, and 10 past 9, we should already be wrapping up the conversation. So you get different opinions there. So what, and now what? Now what is then, okay, let's try to really now identify the course or action or a possible next step, a possible thing that we can try out, and then people can suggest a possible way to resolve whatever you're trying to address.
That's a great explanation of the format. Thank you for that. I think that the format had been mentioned before, but not with that kind of details. And I think it's really useful to think about that ladder of inference, because as you said, very often we jump to the end of the conversation without going through the middle, right? Like facts are one thing, but then what those facts mean to us, it's a personal thing. It's not something that is shared. And we need to be able to understand what others take out of the fact so that we can then, of course, eventually come up with some action or a workaround or a solution. Right. But now we turn our attention to what success means for us as Scrum Masters. So share with us, Frederik, what does it mean for you when you think about success as a Scrum Master?
Yeah, for me, that means that the team can, see Scrum not as purely a process or anything or as a tool, but it is rather embedded as a habit in the way of working of the team. And whatever interactions, behavior that you see, it exemplifies the Scrum values. So it's not that much anymore of going through the motions, but there is a natural need to collaborate, to work together, to plan something, to do something, to inspect and adapt. And they do that in a Scrum way because they think that creating cadence, this rhythm of working in iterations in sprint, is very useful for them. And the team can do it in an autonomous way. They don't really need the help of the Scrum Master anymore to facilitate a sprint planning or a sprint review and so on. Yes, perhaps they need the Scrum Master to facilitate the retrospective, but as well, when the Scrum Master is absent or on holiday, it doesn't mean that the team stops with doing retrospectives. They continue. Some they can do it on their own, or they elect or nominate someone within the team to facilitate.
So I wanted to explore a little bit more what you mean by habit. So the basic explanation which you just gave is quite clear, right? Like, they do Scrum. They don't ask the Scrum Master to do Scrum for them, right? Like, I get that part. But what might be other areas, other aspects or signs that Scrum has become, as you said, a habit for the team?
Yes. Well, whatever they run into an issue or a problem, they take action themselves. Yeah, product owner is part of the team, part of the collaboration, and whenever they have like a question to clarify, they go to the product owner, or they're in direct contact with stakeholders. So they don't step to the Scrum Master to ask, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you solve this? Can you do whatever? The second thing is that more on say it on a conceptual level, there is a strong let's say need to achieve something together. So they are aligned towards an objective, and that there is sufficient space to work autonomously. And so they work in an autonomous way, and they are aligned to a common objective. And when that exists, I see that self-organization can flourish. And if they have learned about how to do certain things, they can start to do it on their own.
And they take initiative, right?
They take initiative. They take initiatives. Take initiative. You don't. Yeah. But a key thing in this is really to create alignment with a goal. That could be in sprint on the level of the product goal. On the longer term, in the sprint goal. But also in terms of we as a team, we understand who we are today, but let's say in half a year, in 6 months or in 1 year, we want to get better at what we do. So what does it mean to improve? And they also can set a goal for this. We want to become, we want to, for example, do fully automated releases, deployment and releases, for example. They want to improve the way that they manage releases. And they take initiative to see how they can
they're not waiting for the Scrum
this.
Master to tell them, hey, let's do this, or let's have a retro, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Indeed. And taking initiative is really a key aspect of team autonomy, and of course also an example of what self-organization is at its best.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Frederik.
You're welcome.
Part of a successful Scrum Master job is to help the product owner. Tomorrow we explore that critical role in Scrum, the product owner role. Tune in to learn about product owner anti-patterns, what you can do to help the product owner, and a real-life example of what a great product owner is and what made it so. Tomorrow on our Friday Product Owner episode. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.